welcome to an episode of Talk with the Twinsies. I am Brandon.
I'm Brandi.
Have you ever been in a situation to where you went to a family member or a friend and you asked them to help you out and they said, yes, I can help you. But then they came back with something and said, but what are you going to give me? Or what are you going to do for me? Or have you ever made a decision that's for your benefit, something that you desired and wanted to do, and because your family didn't approve, they didn't want to have anything to do with you? You've experienced being dismayed and disowned. It's time for you to talk with the Twinsies. That's it. Dismayed and disowned. I remember being in a situation, sis. It was in the year 2018. I was going through a rough patch in my divorce. And, of course, divorces and stuff can be very messy. You just have to make sure all your ducks are in a row and stuff. So anyways, I had decided to move back to Arkansas temporarily. This was only going to be maybe a 2-month max, which it was like 2 months max. And I had moved there just with the car that I had and a few pieces of like professional clothes because I wanted to, get a professional job. I was either going to teach or I was going to, work at some business or whatever. And while there, I confided in a friend. I confided in a friend that has been a childhood friend of ours, well, a family friend of ours since we were little. This individual taught me how to play the piano. I was a teenager around that time when he taught me how to play. And I had started to play for a church and all that good stuff. So he helped me get a job playing the piano at a church, and I was very excited about that because, he had taught me everything I needed to know. And what had happened was, I had asked for help. I asked him, hey, could you help me, get a job? Can you help me, get myself stable? He was like, oh yeah, I can help you. That's no problem. He said, what do you want to do? I said, it's the middle of a school year. So I said, I know I can't probably go ahead and teach. And plus all the positions were filled.
Right.
And I said, well, I can work at a bank around here. I have banking experience. He was like, ooh, I know the perfect bank. I know the president, he's the president or the manager of the bank.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't have no problem hiring you. I was like, oh, okay, man. So we went down to the bank. And I had talked with a young lady that was there, and I interviewed with her, and I interviewed with the other staff that was there, and she said, hey, we would love for you to come here and work for us. So that was perfect, and the individual that I asked to help me, he, had a lot to do with it because he vouched for me. He was a reference for me,
right.
And he has a lot of trust in the community. So they know that he's not going to just bring anything to work for an institution.
Right.
So on down there, I had started working and bringing in a few paychecks. They quite just weren't adding all the way up to, what I needed, to get things paid and all that stuff. Right. But then I went back a second time to him, and I said, hey, I need a little help with something. I got a little bit, but I need, like $20-30 more, and then I'll be okay. I'll be good. Everything will be paid. I'm gassed up, groceries, I'm good. And he was like, yeah, no, that's no problem. I'll help you with that. I said, I just need help paying this one bill. Then he was like, that's no problem. He said, I can pay all of your bills if you want me to. I said, okay. I said, well, that's even better. I said, just, however you can help, that'd be great. But then he said, if I pay all of your bills, what are you going to give me?
What you say?
I'm telling you, sis, he said, if I pay all of your bills, what you going to give me? And I'm a grown man at this point. I'm a grown man, okay?
Right.
When you tell somebody something like that at our age, it ain't no, okay, I'll come and wash your car.
Right.
Or I'll come and I'll clean your house. No, I knew exactly what it was he was talking about. And from that moment on, I felt disappointed.
Right.
I was really sad because I had confided and trusted in an individual that was supposed to help me with some stuff and turned it around.
People
come on.
that comes for you
Every single time. And Come on, Sid.
No, there can be some good people in the world today.
It is. We have some good
but
people.
You got some fucked up people in your family that'll do the same.
Oh,
shit.
shoot, sis, what you say? Because you know
baby,
what you say.
Them uncles back then.
Huh.
Your daddies.
Ooh, come on with it.
Baby,
Come on with it.
They'll come at you sideways too. But back then, we used to want to go to all the Girton High School football games. That was the shit.
Yeah,
you know
that was okay. Friday
so
night
as
was
kids,
always.
You know, well, us girls, we would go to this specific person in our life and we would say, hey, can we get $5 for the game? Because back then it was $5. I don't know what the hell they paying now.
It's too much, 10, 15.
He said, yeah, I'll give you $5 to go to the game, but what y'all gonna do for me? I'm like, what? Hold the fuck on.
Yeah.
I was bamboozled at that point. Like, what man that's been in your life forever says something like that?
I know exactly.
Why would you say that to your daughter or your niece? Wow.
Yeah, I think it's like when they know that you're in need of something and you need some help, they want to utilize that as an opportunity to get something from you that they know ain't gonna work.
And you don't know how long they've been looking at you when you was a little girl, and then they all of a sudden come out and say some stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Then back then the aunties probably they thought it was cool.
It was not cool. No, it ain't cool because I'm telling you.
I know they didn't go back and tell them, but I knew they knew something was going on.
They knew exactly what was going on. And it is sad that you got these uncles and people who look at you for a long time. You're my uncle. Like, you're my mom or my dad's brother. All right? So, no, if I need some help with something, either tell me yes or no. Don't see. One thing I've learned is that people will try to use things to hang over your head.
Oh, yeah.
Like, especially if they do one thing for this, like my situation, because it helped me got that job at the bank. He thought that I owed him for doing that. So he used an opportunity for when I asked again, just for a little help, when I asked again to say, hey, I can do this, I can do all this for you, but what you gonna give me? What you gonna do for me? I think that is just so just crazy because dang, like I done trusted you all of my life and you come and do some crap like that. But anyways, we'll come back. Let's take a quick break. We'll come right back. We're gonna get into being disowned, just because if you've been in a situation, made a decision for yourself and your parents didn't approve of it or your family didn't approve of it and they just didn't want to have anything to do with you, you've been disowned. And we're gonna talk about that when we come right back after this. Welcome back to Talk with the Twinsies. I am Brandon.
I'm Brandi.
All right, and before the break, we had got into a real kind of significant situation to where, my goodness, we have both experienced being dismayed by your family and your friends, or those who call themselves your family and those who call themselves your friends. But we want to get into something a little more deeper in this section. So we want to talk about being disowned. Now, I don't know if anybody else have experienced being disowned, but I know I have. And that was one of the most life-changing situations that I'd ever been in, because you can live your life as an individual and you create your own life. Right. You have your own ideas, you have your own goals and aspirations to where you know what you want to do. So you start to pursue that. Well, when I was a teenager, I'll say that when I was a teenager, or into my preteens, I had a different sexual preference.
Right.
And at that time, for a while, at least a couple of years, since 11, I had already had an idea of who I was and what I wanted to be, and I was afraid to share that because it's hard to just really share things with your family and friends, right, because you don't know how they're gonna take it, because once you see how they judge somebody else, you're afraid to come to them with something that you want them to know or you want to share with them. So I was 13, maybe 12 or 13.
I think 13.
It was 13, yeah. And we had lived over on 315 Cary Street. Right over there.
I thought it was Cherry, but I guess it was Cary.
It was Cary through,
okay.
Yeah, Cary Street. And once we were living there, and I had told my mom. I told mom, you know, what my preference was. Because that's the first person you want to tell. You want to tell mom. Well, I know you already knew. I mean, you're my twin. Of course, you already knew. So I told my mom what my preference was, and she in that moment it was just me and her. I remember like it was yesterday. I was laying in the bed, and I just got through talking to one of my little friend guys from Texas. Where he lived in Ashdown. In Ashdown, Arkansas, and people may know him. He was on color guard, and so we saw each other at our band events. And I just got off the phone with him, and I had his words of encouragement saying, "Hey, you should tell your mom. Yeah. That's your mom. She's gonna love you anyway." He was like, "I told my mom, and she loved me still. It ain't that bad, Brandon. Just do it. Just tell her." And I decided that day that I'm gonna tell my mom that I liked this boy that lived in Ashdown, Arkansas. So then, mom had came home from whatever she was doing, and I had a few minutes to just kind of reflect on that. And I told mom, I said, "Mom, I need to tell you something. I need to tell you something that, I think you really need to know."
Right.
So she had sat on the bed, and she was like, "Oh Lord. Oh Lord."
You would think she
what
would
is
understand.
it? I know, right? She was like, "Oh Lord." And then she sat on the bed, and I told her, I said, "Mom, I think I like boys." And she had looked at me like that. Had looked at me.
Did.
She did. Looked at me. He said, "But you said, you know what? You're my son, and I love you anyway. You're my son, and I love you anyway." And she said, "You don't have to worry about this going anywhere because this gonna be between us." And I said, "Okay." So I thought we had that going on.
Shit.
So the next day or two, I forgot to clean the bathroom or something. I had went to do something, and or maybe it was to take out the trash, whatever it was. And so mom had came home. I was sitting on the porch, and dad had got off work. He had came there and sat on the porch. And mom came and said, "I thought I told you to take out that trash." I said, "I am. I promise I'm taking it." I said I had to finish my homework. She was like, "I don't care what you got to do. I said take out the trash." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, okay." Then she had said, "You don't you talk like that. Don't act like that towards me." I said, "I'm not." Well, I said, "How am I acting? How am I acting?"
Yeah.
She said, "Don't think just because we done shared, you done told me something, don't mean that you can act any kind of way." I said, "Mom," I said, "all I said was I'm gonna, take it out." I said, "I have to finish my homework." And she was like, Jang. So so dad come outside, and we were sitting on the porch, and she was like, "Why don't you tell your smart mouth ass son didn't do what I told him to do?" I said, "Mom, I'm gonna do it. I'm about to do it." And she said, "Why don't you tell your daddy what you told me?" Mom, we just shared this moment.
Childish.
And this was 2 days ago. We just shared this moment. And you told me that it was going to be between us. I thought we had shared that bond. I was dismayed because I told her, a secret. Well, it wasn't really a secret. It was something that I wanted my mom to know. And then, of course, Dad said, well, what is it you need to tell me? What you done now? I said, I haven't done anything. Go on and tell him. Go on and tell him what you told me. Didn't you tell me the other day that you like boys? I was like, and that, so of course, when Dad hears that, he's like, what? What? You like boys?
Yeah.
Oh, no, ain't no son of mine fit to be running around here like no little faggot. Ain't no son around mine fit to, you remember that? And I'm like, what? And then so he was like, get your ass in the house.
You better be glad I couldn't fight.
I know that's
Lord,
right.
forgive me, but I would have whooped both
their ass. They did, sis.
I don't care.
And that just hurt me so bad because I shared that with them. And then, it came around to where I made the cheer team, and I was getting ready to go like cheerleading camp, and my folks told me I don't mind supporting the sports, but I ain't fit to be paying no money to see my son or some of them said, to see my family, my nephew down there throwing his leg up in the air like a little girl. And I'm like, what? I'm like, I like to flip. Like, I like to turn backflips. Anybody in GERD know that when growing up, I loved to do backflips. I love doing backflips. So I joined the cheer team doing just that. And then
you even motivated some of the guys that wasn't getting it.
Sure right.
And I don't give a fuck what they say. Don't be trying to be faking the funk now.
You sure
know what
right.
I'm saying?
Sure
you motivated a lot of young guys to get on to
we had a 1, 2, 3.
They wasn't gay. You know what I'm saying?
They weren't.
You just motivated.
They liked it, and it wasn't nothing funny going on like that. I enjoyed cheerleading, and of course some of the guys, they liked it too. Of course they say it back when, you like to throw them girls up in the air so you can look up under their skirts. I was like, I said, when you have a whole human life in your hands, you ain't worried about looking at no cuckoo or no damn nothing like that. So you gonna try to make sure they don't fall and splatter their brain on that concrete or that track.
First of all, you ain't finna see it because they got on some little panties.
What they call spankers. Got on them little spanks, whatever they call. So y'all wouldn't do nothing like that. But anyways, and ever since then, it's like I had trouble getting support from family and friends, and it got around to my senior year, and I knew that cheerleading was my thing. Band was my thing, choir was my thing, theater was my thing. I wanted to be in the fine arts. I wanted to do it. So it was hard getting support like that because they didn't want to support it because, first of all, they thought they knew I was gay and they didn't want to support my preference. If I had the support that I needed in Arkansas when we were there, I could be on the very, very top by now. That's all I needed. But because it's a tough community and people have their own beliefs, even some church folks, don't come on with it. Even some church folks, we can't help you because you live in an alternative lifestyle. Girl, I know. Don't get me started. We're gonna talk about the church on a new episode because I'm gonna tell you, it's some real funny, fake hypocrites up in the church, baby, and you better know I know them, honey. I played the piano for years, and I know exactly what how to sing.
Put some holy oil on your head and make you change your
life.
You
remember they did? Gonna put me up to the front of the church one day.
I put that oil on your head.
Talking about some
jump out of being gay.
The Lord want to take you to higher things, but there's something that you got to give up that He don't approve of. What? I'm like, if God didn't approve me of being successful, He wouldn't have blessed me with the talents and skills and stuff that He wouldn't have blessed me with that to be successful.
They were bad about that holy oil.
We were bad about that. I remember that. Come around. But anyways, we'll get back into that on a whole episode. What about you, sis? You experienced anything like that?
I didn't give a fuck.
I know you did.
I didn't give a fuck about nothing. I didn't care if I was dismayed, dysfunction, discombobulated, or anything that started with a D.
Anything. You didn't care.
Didn't care.
I think it was rough for me.
Yeah,
it was rough, and I know some fathers, they have that idea. Oh, my son is going to play football. My son going to be a track star or a sports athlete. Yeah. But for you to come to your folks and say, "Oh, Dad, I'm a cheerleader." What? Oh, so you like to throw your little leg? I can't. You want to be down there on the track throwing your legs up like them little girls? I remember you did something say that, but it's okay. And it's all right, but I am who I am, and I love who I am, and that's why others love me because I started loving myself first.
Love you.
And that's where it starts. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We got 2 questions coming up right after this. We'll be right back with more Talk with the Twinsies. Welcome back to Talk with the Twinsies. I am Brandon.
I'm Brandi.
Alrighty, we are back here. This is our Q&A session. Woo! We have 2 questions for everyone. Like we said last week, we're gonna just answer the questions as they come in. So we have 2 questions here, and the first question says, all right, I'm taking a young lady on a date Friday. What are some tips y'all can give me to make the date a success and for her to go out with me on a second date? Oh, shoot now. So you going out on a date Friday night, okay?
Friday night, late.
All right, don't be late.
I really don't know. I mean, cause all my dates have been wonderful.
You've had some great dates.
I really can't give advice to a male about taking a young lady out. Only you can do that.
Well, I can do that. I'll do that. Okay, well, I'll say this, all right? So you have to let her know and let her experience that chivalry is not dead. There are still some good gentlemen out here who knows how to take a young lady on a date. All right, we've gotten away from that a little bit. Some of them we have, but you want to make your date a success. So what I say is, when you go pick up that young lady, all right, you get out, you open up the door for her to get in. Make sure your car is clean too. Okay, make sure your car is clean. Make sure you got like some paper towels.
It don't even matter what you pull up in. You can pull up in a dune buggy, and I'm going with you.
That's all right.
Some females get it twisted because they want to ride out in a Benz or something like that. Nigga, pull up in their hoopty and come get me. We going out today.
I know that's right.
Go to the swap. Man.
Come on out on the date in your hoopty. So if you want to pull up in your hoopty or whatever car you have, you make sure that you just make sure you have chivalry. You represent chivalry. So like I said, get out, open up her door for her to get in. Make sure your car is clean. Keep some napkins in the glove compartment in case she sneezes or needs something to wipe. You always keep stuff like that in your car. Hand sanitizer, things like that in there so she can have access to. When y'all are on your way to the destination of your date, if y'all are going out to eat or to a game or to something like that for your date, make small talk, okay? Get to know her. Ask her some questions about her childhood or, what was it like growing up in whatever town she grew up in, and just make small talk. When you get to dinner, then you talk about, what your expectations are, or ask her what her expectations are in a relationship, what she's looking for in a guy, and let her answer that. Then you want to move on down in the date. When you're at dessert, talk about, what the future could be, what you want the future to look like, and if y'all have some type of compatibility for that. Also, when you get to the restaurant, get out of the car and open up her door for her. All right, and
don't wait
always
till you see a man walking through the parking lot, get out and open up the door.
Okay, no,
get out and open up the door just to
yes, do that, and make sure she's on the curb
never
side.
know who you might motivate them.
Okay, you're right. Make sure she's on the curb side too, man. You want to make sure that she feels safe. Afterwards, whenever y'all are finished your dessert, take her on a little walk or go to the park or go walking down the street. And when you do go on a walk, make sure that you are on the street side. All right, the male should always walk on the street side, and the female should walk on the side of him, because the direction that the traffic is coming, you want to make sure that if anything or any car jumps the curve, it won't hit her. You want to make sure it hits you. Not saying we want that to happen, but we're saying
it's all about respect.
It's respect and courtesy and safety.
It's just like your mom and dad sleeping in the bed, your dad is sleeping over by the door.
That's right. Dads always sleep by the door, all right? Or the
boyfriends too. Hey, if you got a boyfriend staying with you, make sure his ugly ass on the right side of the bed.
Make sure he's by the door, okay? Yeah. Always put the stronger, more dominant person by the door, because, a man. Put a man by the door, because if anything or anyone comes through that door, he needs to be the first line of defense, all right? Because, we want to make sure that you are safe. All right, so that's that for that day.
You can put your other right on the other side of the bed. You know what I'm talking about?
Your pistol?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, mine stays on the side. All right, just reach and grab. All right, so yes, that's how you can have a successful date, my friend. All right, and also, if anybody have any other questions, you can just send them to us at talktotwinsies@gmail.com. What does it say?
Talktotwinsies@gmail.com.
Okay, we got one more question, and it says, okay, so far, y'all have talked about a lot of deep shit. What can we expect on episodes to come? What should they expect, sis?
Most definitely more of me, of course.
Absolutely.
So ladies, come with the questions.
All right, come on with the questions, ladies. We are ready for them. And we do talk about a lot of deep shit on here. We really do. And we want to, we keep it as raw and as informational as possible. On episodes to come, it's just going to get better and better. We're going to have more information, more events that took place in our lives. We're going to talk about some things that families don't want to talk about. That's the base of our entire show. We want to talk about hardships. We want to talk about uncomfortable situations. We want to talk and ask questions on things that our family don't want to talk about or ask questions about. We're that brave, and we're going to do it because we're 35 now, and we don't have any time for all of this back and forth. We ain't got time to be lying. What are we lying for?
Thank you.
Okay, we don't have
but
time.
But if you're gonna come correct.
Come on, correct.
That's all I'm saying.
All right, come on now. All right, now you heard. If you're gonna come, you need to come correct. All right. So we'll, yes, any questions that you have, we will answer them. We're gonna talk about other deep things on the show. It's going to get very personal at some times, and sometimes we'll have some uplifting moments and some deep, emotional moments. So just got to continue to watch the show. Alrighty, that is it for all of our questions on today. We certainly hope we've answered them to the best of your knowledge and our knowledge too. If you have any questions, please send them to talktotwinsies@gmail.com. And also you can follow us on Instagram, and you can follow us on YouTube. Our YouTube channel is youtube.com/@talktotwinsies. So we look forward to seeing each and every one of you next week for our episode and more on Talk with the Twinsies.
And from my heart to y'all, fuck them fake ass hoes.
You heard it? All right. Great episode, everybody. Thank y'all so much for watching. We look forward to seeing y'all next week.
In the words of me, stop that.
However you want to do it. However you want to do it. It'll work. All right, since we'll drink to that, thank you guys for watching. We'll see you all next week.